Literally, all I can
Especially
think of,
because
I'm not even a foot guy. But
80,000 people who all are breaking a few wristlets, and next thing you know.
the response was, oh, can I bring my purse blender? You ever do something as an atmospheric setup for the podcast, and then you realize, oh no, not only is this only for me, but also it might make my job harder?
Did you rent a fog machine?
Yeah, did you turn on a fan? What's going
Okay,
on here?
firstly, I own a fog machine. Why would I rent a fog
Goddamn
machine?
right
You
do.
own
I
a fog
own
machine?
17 of them running constantly in my
I don't
basement.
think that's true.
That's pretty badass.
But I've never been to your basement, so I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think Noah's basement exists.
It's the one room he knew he could lie to me about.
No, I also did not turn a fan on. I did a different, sillier third thing, which is...
Silly string?
How did you know?
I just felt it.
Man. But no, not silly string. It's a woodwick candle, and it makes the little, like, crackling sound, you know? And I found it while I was looking for my sewing kit, and I'm like, oh my god, I love woodwick candle. Let's light them up while I record, and it'll be like a soothing little, like, fire. You know, like the sound that I sometimes layer into the episode when I want it to seem serious, like we're having a fireside chat or some dumb shit like that, you know?
Correct.
But instead, now I'm sitting here with this thing crackling away next to me, and I'm like, oh no, I just created noise pollution on my mic for nothing. All that happens is
Yeah, but you said
I'm
it out
sitting
loud.
here enjoying it.
But you said it out loud so that if anyone's listening and they're like, what's that noise pollution? They'd be like, oh, that's right. It's the thing Noah already mentioned.
Yeah,
so you
exactly.
cut it off before it became a problem.
That's what I'm hoping for.
You got out
knock
ahead of the,
on wood.
Because who doesn't listen to the first minute, but then listens to like the middle of the podcast?
Me. I only listen to
Oh.
the middle. I don't believe in the first minute. I think that's our worst work.
The
So
beginning is
true.
our worst work.
Mhm.
Frankly, that's a bold statement, considering I think our best work is at the beginning and our worst work is in the middle.
No. Well,
You guys have bad work?
guess we'll just agree to disagree.
Well, when I say our, I mean the collective us, meaning Dan.
I was gonna say when he says
Oh,
our, he means
yeah.
yeah.
Whereas when
let's all
Dan
be
says
transparent
our,
on
he
this.
means the collective us, meaning me and Dan.
Correct.
Jackson, of course, can do no wrong, as has been documented as is known.
It is
I
in fact
didn't-
known.
That's why I didn't say anything about a low point, because I always believe in us.
You know, I sometimes believe in us. Other times I just think we're kind of sneaky.
Wow. It's
Well, you don't have to always believe in us, because I'm doing it. So,
And you know
Yeah.
what? You're doing a great job of it, honestly.
thank you.
So, have I mentioned to you guys that I've been like, because of work, I'm looking up like what national days are up recently?
Oh, yeah, I do that all the time, too. Also because of work.
Really?
Yeah.
You've not mentioned it to me. Let me put it that way.
Oh, that's actually
Yeah.
kind of cool. I'm glad it's not just me.
I
So
go to the
when I
National Day
make
calendar all the time.
like I make oh gosh, what was I gonna say? I make little like day plan sheets at work. You know, like everyone has one,
Mhm.
and you just write down who's in. And my one manager was like, "Well, let's have a little bit of fun with this. Maybe we'll spice it up." And we have a section where we can do a little, hey, this happened. That's great. So we're starting to add in like what the national day is that day.
Okay.
Like for instance, today, Sunday, June 25th is National Croatian Wine Day.
Thank
So
God.
that's something that I would put down, even though, or actually I might not, because I don't think we sell any Croatian wine. But you know, that's
Probably
a cool
not.
thing that you can do. But the other day was National Peaches and Cream Day. And I was excited about that. I'm like, oh my God, Peaches and Cream Day? I've never had peaches and cream.
Mhm.
And I was really excited to try peaches and cream. So I buy some peaches, and oh no, turns out they're not ripe. So rather than doing fresh peaches, I'm going to do cooked peaches. But that's okay. You know, They're still good. We're still here to have a good time.
Did you do it yet?
I did.
Okay, so
Um,
you just, like, it sounded like it was gonna happen.
Oh, no,
And
no,
I got
no.
worried.
No, don't worry. This story has a full arc and conclusion, because the
Oh, thank
conclusion is the funny part. So I cook these peaches, and I cook them down. They taste delicious. I end up with this delicious peach syrup that is nice and thick, and we were going to drizzle over the whole thing. And I'm like, I'm going to make whipped cream now, because if I'm making half of it, I'm going to make all of it, right?
Yeah.
So-
might as well.
I pour in what I consider to be a good amount of heavy cream for two people.
Mhm.
And now this is the problem, because while I think it's a good amount of heavy cream for two people, Turns out slightly over a cup of unwhipped cream is far too
Yeah.
much heavy cream for two people. Which, people who think about what heavy cream is could easily sit here and say, no one wants to drink a half a cup of heavy cream. To
You would
which
be
I
so
would,
surprised, though.
Hmm?
Having worked in coffee shops, you would be so sadly surprised.
Okay, yeah,
Because
that's
it's
true.
keto.
I was about to say, because Nina has told me the story about the butter people that came in with purse butter, 2 sticks of butter in her purse, saying, can you use your blender to blend this into 1 coffee?
Yeah, I used to work at a different coffee shop that had, like, the owner was on and off keto.
Oh, God.
And they would do, like, keto drinks, and literally people would come in and be so excited to get, like, a fucking heavy whipping cream latte. And it's just like, it says for whipping right there in the name, not sipping.
So true,
No, but actually,
so
though.
true. But yeah, also for the record, the butter people have been turned away because it's a health concern. They're like, we cannot blend your butter into coffee with our equipment. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Also, we
And-
don't like you.
And the response was, oh, can I bring my purse blender and just use one of your outlets then? Which
Yeah,
is
man, I guess.
that's such an insane thing to ask. But that
I
was
feel like
literally
the-
what everyone said was, yeah, I guess.
Like, sure. Like, imagine going somewhere that has, like, it's like BYOB and being like, hey, is it cool if I bring, like, my margarita mixer and my, like, blender and, like, a bottle of tequila with me? Yeah, I guess, probably, but, like,
But
you don't
why?
gotta
It's
do
like,
that.
what-
Just bring, like, a
exactly.
6-pack.
What are you doing here?
But okay, so to get back to the peaches and cream, I make
Yeah.
myself this whipped cream, and it's a lot of whipped cream, and I'm like, whew, it's a lot. But I'm excited because the peaches are tasty, the whipped cream is tasty. So I take 2 bowls and I put down a layer of whipped cream. I put down the peaches, and I put a little whipped cream on top with a drizzle of the peach syrup. And frankly, y'all, it looks so good. I chilled the peaches in between, so they're like icy cold, and the whipped cream is fresh, and it's just such a good time. And then you start to eat it, right? And you realize so quickly, holy shit, that's a lot of whipped cream, which I knew when I was preparing it. I knew it was a lot of whipped cream. But when I tell you, this is one of the first times in ages where I have made myself something to eat that I physically could not stomach.
Ooh.
And like, my food standards are pretty low, right?
Yeah.
Like Nina, the one day came in and saw me eating lightly burnt chicken thighs because I had burned them by accident. And I'm like, well, I paid for this food. I'm going to eat it.
Yeah, that's fine.
And, she was just like, oh my God, what the hell? And I'm like, hey, you know what? You live your life, I'll live mine, like a classic moment. But oh my God, this was so much whipped cream. I thought I was going to die.
Well, you could just eat the peaches and only some of the whipped cream.
That is what I ended up
Pretty
doing
funny.
because Nina at the end of it was like, hey, I have leftover whipped cream. Do you want it? And then looked into my bowl and there was a solid like half cup plus of whipped cream just sitting there. And she's like, oh, never mind.
Oh, never mind.
So yeah, that was me drastically overestimating how much whipped cream I could sit down and eat.
That's extraordinarily funny, to be honest. Like, I am sorry that it happened, but that's extraordinarily funny.
Oh no, it was just funny. I'm looking to do it
Yeah,
again
I'm not really
because
sorry it
frankly,
happened.
as my first peaches and cream experience, it did not turn me off peaches and cream, and I'm so excited to try them
What
again.
did you, like, how did you just never have, like,
Frankly, I don't know.
I
That's
just, I
all
don't,
I could think of is
I mean,
like,
you've had other berries and cream, though, right?
no.
You've never had, like, strawberries and, like, whipped cream?
Nope.
He's not a little lad.
You've never
who
even
has
gotten,
berry-
like, a pancake that has whipped cream and
Well,
blueberries
yeah,
on
but
it?
that's that's
Okay,
different.
well, you're 80% of the way there.
Well, that's the thing. I am 80% of the way there, but I've never had berries and cream alone. I've
But
never
you can,
had
like,
peaches
go
and
into your
cream.
Sherlock mind palace and be like, I can dissect the flavors. Like,
Yeah,
it would
okay,
make
okay,
sense.
yeah, I can dissect the flavors in my mind palace, but that's not the point. The point is like I've just never had, I don't know, I've never had them as is, and I felt like I was missing out.
Yeah, I've had plenty of, like, canned pie filling and whipped cream. That's a classic.
Hmm. I
It's
almost did canned
basically-
peaches.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically just like the super shortcut version. My parents, my dad used to always can pears when we were little, and we would eat those with cream, or with whipped cream usually.
For what it's
Mhm.
worth, I also, I don't think I've ever had, I don't really like whipped cream, so I've also never had it for what it's worth.
I think a lot of times the cream isn't, like, maybe I'm crazy, but I don't think it's always even whipped. I think sometimes it's literally just, like, in a bowl with, like, a little bit of heavy cream, you put some fruit.
That is
It
actually
is, yeah.
worse in my mind. I need you to understand.
That's fine.
That
Okay.
is horrific.
It's not about you. It's about
Oh,
fruit.
God. Do you want to hear some terrible news? Speaking of
Oh,
national
no.
days.
Maybe not.
So I wanted to look up and see what the national day for when the podcast releases is, because I thought that would be kind of fun.
Mhm.
But it's like 4 of these days are just dude days. It's National Fred Day, National Gordon Day, National Nash Day. How many people do you know named Nash, out of curiosity?
Like the gnashing of teeth.
No, Nash, like Nashville.
Like Nashville.
Steve Nash.
0, and I think that's too many.
Also National Guy Day. That's
Oh, it's
June
just guys'
29th. It's just
day.
National Guy Day. Just a day for the dudes. Just a bunch
A
of
day
bros.
for the boys.
It's
For
also
the
National Bacon
boys.
Burnt End Day.
Ooh, hold on.
Okay, cool.
And for a day for the dudes like that, it just makes sense.
So true.
National Camera
So
Day, though.
true.
So, Dan, there's a day for you, too.
Oh, thank you. But not the dude day, just camera day.
Well, I didn't think
No, it's
you'd want to
actually
be
Nash Day.
associated with the dudes.
I mean, you're not totally wrong.
Nash
See,
Day.
Dan, we've
Nash
been
Day.
doing this podcast for 5 years now. I think
It's
I
too
know
many
what
years.
you do and do like.
Dune,
Like
Dune.
dude and dune, like
You know what I Dune.
Dune.
Tim Dune.
Oh my God, Tim Dune. Tim Dune. Tim Dune. Tim
He's so
Dune.
cool.
So Tim Dune, bestie.
He's so cool. Dune Part 2 is coming out. Speaking of other things that I like and enjoy, I went to a concert this last week.
Oh, who'd you go see?
I went to see Boy Genius, the band with Phoebe Bridgers and Julian Baker and Lucy Dacus.
Oh, that's who's in Boy Genius?
Yeah,
Huh. More you know.
it was pretty great. It was in Pittsburgh. It was on a day when I had to work in the morning, so I got home at like 1 a.m. and had to work at 4.
That sucks.
Unlucky.
Incredibly
Deeply
unlucky.
Yeah.
It was a really fun time though. I haven't been to a big concert in a while. I can't even remember the last time, honestly. Because I went to one when I was in Taiwan, but it was a little more like it was in like a theater and there was like seats and it was like a bit more of an older audience.
Mhm.
So it's not quite the same as like an outdoor, like field sit on the grass kind of concert.
Yeah.
It was done at Stage AE in Pittsburgh, so it's like their
Stage
bigger
AE is a
outdoor
fun
venue.
spot.
Yeah, it was nice. The only problem is that it was the day, or it was 2 days after the Taylor Swift concerts, because there were 2 of them in Pittsburgh, and holy shit, there was fucking garbage everywhere. Them Taylor Swift kids, they like beads a lot, and so like imagine all the plastic beads you've ever seen in your life, and they're in between one crack between cement sidewalk blocks. And there's that many beads in every single crack between every single sidewalk block for half a mile.
Oh my God.
Like it was actually an insane number of beads and like feathers.
That is the worst
It looked
thing.
like Michael's Crafts threw up. It was kind of weird. I mean, I guess there's like people wear a lot of bracelets to the Taylor Swift concerts. But yeah, there were so many beads,
So many.
like millions of small plastic beads everywhere.
Yikes. I hate
It was
that
like
for you.
walking on marbles a little bit. It was awful. And I hadn't even thought about that. Like I knew the Taylor Swift concert was before, but I didn't realize that like the beads were a thing, and that like I'm sure in the chaos of leaving and going in and running around, people with like 800 bristlets on probably shattered a few of them, and then all the beads just spilled onto the sidewalk. And then you got 80,000 people who all are breaking a few wristlets, and next thing you know,
Next thing you know, it's all over.
Bead City.
Population, the beads.
All Pittsburgh. Yeah, the concert was a really good time though. I enjoyed it, even if I ended up being out way too late.
I feel like that's part of the fun of it. I don't know, because I don't go out super late unless there's an event at this point.
Yeah, that's true. And it was like, a 2-hour drive out there.
That's a long drive to come back.
Yeah,
and then
that's getting out of
lot.
the parking lot and stuff afterwards, where it
Yeah.
just takes forever.
That's rough.
It was still a really fun time.
It
That's
sounds like it was a really good time, honestly.
Yeah, mostly because I was just a big fan of all the artists involved. Mostly Julian Baker and Phoebe Bridgers. I'm a longtime fan of. So it was really cool to see them live because I haven't.
Yeah, honestly, anytime you get to see an artist that you like have enjoyed for a while live, always feels like a really cool experience, even if it's not like the greatest time, it's still like nice to have been able to have the moment.
Yeah, and it was like they put on like a really good show, and they like the group has only put out like an album and an EP, and they played every single song they put out together plus one that hasn't been released.
Nice.
So it's like, you know, you got it all. Like it's that's kind of neat.
That is super cool.
And they played some individual songs as well. That yeah, it was a really nice show. I enjoyed it. The one thing I found really funny. So you know, it's Pittsburgh. It's like they're a very like you know queer friendly group. So it was like a super like diverse and fun and like queer concert. And I will say though, I feel like there were so many like boyfriends in attendance that didn't get the vibe check. Like I feel like it was like you know, back to the Taylor Swift point, it's kind of like the same effect as the Taylor Swift fan boyfriends. You're like, this doesn't add up. Also, like I saw two different dudes holding up their phone like with like the Shazam app open. I'm like, that's not like
That's so funny.
I was
like, you're not like, and like both times their like their partner was like telling them to put their arm down and trying to like stop them, and I'm like, this,
Like,
what are you doing? You're being kind of weird.
That is
you
really
just
funny,
like
though.
you can't Shazam at a concert. It's too loud.
Yeah, and also, dog, they've got like 12 songs out total. And like your partner is wearing like a custom made shirt and has like
How
a
do you not
tattoo.
know?
How do you not even care?
Yeah, that's
Like,
the
what's-
one that's
Like
that tickles me.
Like if your partner has like a custom made T-shirt and like a tattoo based on one of the like songs, and your ass is out there holding up your phone with Shazam, and the band, it's not Frank Zappa. There's not like 105,000 albums to sort through, each being 30 tracks long. It's an album and an EP, and 12 songs, 13 songs probably altogether. Not that many. And
Yeah.
also your partner literally has like a tattoo, so it clearly matters to them. But like, what are you doing?
I
Care a little bit.
like I know like a few artists Nina really likes that I don't know almost anything about, right? But
Yeah.
like if we went to a show and I saw this artist live, I'm not going
Would
to
you
make
be an asshole?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going
Or
to make
would
an
you
ass
not
out of
be?
myself. I'm just going to be hanging out and being like, yeah, that was really fun. What songs played? You know, I can look that up later.
Yeah, or like, oh, what was your favorite song that you hadn't heard live? Something, you know, stuff like that. We're just like engage with people,
Mm-hmm.
and it just seemed like that was. There were also a couple like opposite examples where there was a good few sets of like parents. Like I saw two separate dads that had shirts on. One of them literally said "Dads for Phoebe," and it was clearly like expo marker done. It wasn't like
Amazing.
Yeah, it wasn't like high quality. And the other one just had like a merch shirt on. But I was like, you know what? And they're just like standing with their like kid, just like,
I love that.
Absolutely amazing.
yeah. The one with the Dads for Phoebe shirt on just made me laugh. I'm like, and he was just like sitting there having a good time.
He's just vibing, dude.
Just, yeah, those are the kind of people that you should aspire to be, not the actually I don't even know this one. Okay.
Cool.
That's
cool.
so cool of you. Congratulations
I don't know.
for
It's
not
like I
knowing.
went to. I mean.
So
Not to say it's
unimaginably
not
cool,
that
bestie.
hard. I literally went to a concert with Mari in Taiwan that was not at all in English.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I don't really speak Chinese. And also, half the songs weren't even Chinese. They were in Taiwanese, and they had Chinese subtitles because the people in the audience didn't speak Taiwanese. So it's like...
There were layers here.
So... Not only did I not understand what was going on, some of the people there also didn't understand what was going on. But still, like, I don't know. She really likes this one album from him, and I've listened to it on several occasions. I listened to it even on the airplane, like I downloaded it, and like she showed me like music videos, and I was like, oh, that's like a fun song. And then we were at the concert. It was just like a good time.
That sounds like a
And
really good
sure,
time.
I didn't know all the words, literally. And also, I just was like, I'm gonna be having a fun time here because this matters to you and I care.
That's insane. Imagine carrying
know.
your significant other.
But just like seeing people at the concert doing that, I was like, that's lame.
Like every now and then, if I'm alone at a show, I have tried to do the Shazam trick like once or twice, right?
Mhm.
And shows are just too loud to do it. It's impossible. But also, I can't imagine doing it specifically to make a scene about it and be like, Oh,
Yeah, don't
what's this? What's this?
holding your phone out all the way with like the logo clearly being presented
Mm-hmm. That's weird.
is
That's
tacky.
really weird.
It's super weird.
I also was a little bit like disheartened by just the number of people who had their phone out the whole time. And like I get it, you be on that phone, but like I don't want to be that guy. But also
Boomer Jackson.
put your phone away at least a little bit. Like at least somewhat don't record the whole thing, cuz like we've all been there. We've all been on Instagram or Snapchat and seen someone post 40 reels from a concert, and you know what you say every time? Oh, that's cool. And then you tap twice and you're like, "Oh, still going?" All right, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because it's like if people were like desperately wanting to go to the show, they probably would have. So maybe you should use the fact that you went all this way, spent all the money, and just like don't stick your arms up in the air the whole time with your phone out recording. I mean, you can, but the whole time,
The whole
brother, it's
time.
3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It's the whole dang team.
And you know that there's going to be a point during the show when the artist is like, "All right, everybody, put your phone away," because that happens every time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you ain't never going to a show. At least, and I'm sure there's probably some shows that doesn't happen, but like anytime a musician has at least one like heartfelt song, they're gonna say put your phones away. So if they want you to do it then, maybe you should just do it a little bit more. Because you know who's gonna release photos of the concert? The professional cinematographers that go on tour with the band.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what they're gonna be releasing it on? Like their cameras that are at like the ideal vantage point and have been recording the whole time.
Exactly.
So it's like, yeah, I get it. Maybe a snap a pic or two, but
Sounds
to
kind
be
of
on
fake,
that phone.
To be honest, kids just be on that phone, and I really think that it sounds like a you problem.
And there's nothing wrong with because you be on that phone, but like when you be on that phone at the concert and you're in front of me and you put your arm up and you have a screen that's just showing me the thing that I'm already seeing, but now I can't see the whole thing I was seeing before, then I'm like, eh.
No, that's fair. I think it's incredibly understandable.
And like the phone flashlight instead of the
God.
lighter, I hate it.
I hate that so much.
Because it's
like-
way brighter,
And also it
directs
has
the light.
zero swag.
zero swag.
Maybe less than zero swag.
Also, there was, I believe it was either 4 or 5. I didn't like gawk too much, but there was a group of teenagers that were kicked out for smoking weed.
Well, that also is a zero swag maneuver, getting kicked out, not the smoking.
I just thought it was like kind of funny because what did you think was going to happen? This isn't like Woodstock, man.
Yeah.
Like there's security
Yeah.
guards everywhere.
Yeah.
In like the middle of downtown Pittsburgh. If we were in like Michigan where weed's legal, I'm sure you could have been doing that. Hell, they probably would have been selling some at the venue. But like,
honestly.
it's just this a time and place. You do that, like, I don't know. If you're gonna be like that, just do it in your car and then go inside of the concert. Like, why would you? And you can like clearly see when someone is lighting like a joint or like a bowl or something. You could like the
You ain't
security guards
slick.
can see the fire and then smell it and then see you having this apparatus. You know, get like a vape like all the other kids do.
Mm-hmm.
Because that you can just like, you know, a couple people passed out too. It was a hot day.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm amazed at how often people will pass out at concerts. Because like
It's locking the knees. It's always locking the knees.
it's locking knees and it's not drinking enough water. Like, I understand not wanting to pay concert prices for like, I don't want to pay $5 for a bottle of water either.
They had
But,
free
like,
water.
They had free water?
Now they didn't have like you could still probably buy water, but they were mostly selling like beer and food, and they had like giant like tubs full of water, like bottled water that they were like that the musicians and stuff were like, hey everybody, like we got a whole bunch of water here up the front. We're gonna start passing it back.
Man, see,
That's
like,
rad.
with that in mind, firstly, every summer concert should do that. It is insane to drag people into an area and then not let them bring water with them and force them to pay for expensive water.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was like the venue had chosen to do that or if like the band had. I mean,
Right.
I can definitely imagine that it was probably in like the rider in some way because like they're a very like down to earth progressive group of people.
Yeah.
They even did like a land acknowledgement and stuff at the start of the show and like a whole bunch of other neat things. And passing out free water was, I think, probably more of the band's decision than the venues because let's be honest, but it still was happening and that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't get any of the free water, but
Boo.
yeah, I was like far enough back and I wasn't like thirsty enough to be like, give me some. I was like, give it to some of these like teenagers who are passing out.
Give it to
Or
them
those
before they
teenagers that are
fucking
smoking
die.
weed, they probably need it more than me.
Frankly.
5 years we've been doing the show. 5 years I've been talking about going to a concert. Still haven't managed to do it yet.
This was a good one to go to. You should have been there.
You
I should
know,
have come over to Pittsburgh.
I should have
Yeah.
come over to Pittsburgh. You're right.
What's wild is New York has to have some like great concerts, right?
I live so close to fucking the stadium, which has concerts literally all the fucking time. Like literally every week is a concert. But I don't have that many artists that I'm that interested in seeing that I would spend the money for. You know what I'm saying?
You could go see that that one artist in New York had a concert and got hit in the head with a phone.
I'm sorry,
Right,
who?
You guys see that? BB Bebe Rexa. I think it's Bebe. She got hit someone threw a phone at her.
Jesus.
Yeah, she says she's all right, but like she got like a big old black eye.
Yeah.
Hit her in the eye. Yeah, like
Jesus.
I know.
The fuck?
Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying. Somebody just was
This
like,
looks rough.
yeah, and it's one of those things where like she did put out maybe my least favorite song of all time, but like she still probably shouldn't have got hit in the head.
I was
with
gonna
a
say,
phone.
but yeah, you can dislike someone's music and also say, you know, maybe don't hit them in the head
It's the
with
one
with
where it's like it's a remix of "I'm Blue,"
Oh, I
but
know
it's
what you're
like
talking about.
"I'm Good."
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
that
yeah.
one, which I must say is maybe my least favorite song of all time. It's bad.
It's fine. It's just
It's worse than the original,
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean
which was
much.
bad.
Damn, Jackson just out here.
I don't think it's a crazy take to say that "I'm Blue" is not that good of a song.
I think it's a perfectly acceptable song.
I think it really just depends on whether or not you actually like Daft Punk or not.
It wasn't Daft Punk.
It
It was
was
Eiffel
not.
65.
Yeah.
Oh,
was
really?
absolutely-
Oh, I
yeah.
thought it was Daft Punk.
Nope,
Oh,
Eiffel
wait, that's right,
65.
because Daft Punk legally say, no, we definitely didn't copy that.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I also don't,
I
I
don't
don't know. I don't like the song that much. But
I don't either.
I don't
and then
mind.
I don't like the remix even more so.
Yeah, I don't mind the remix. I'm neutral on it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm definitely
love
not
it.
like I'm not
Because
searching
it's
it
on
out.
every time you go into Walmart, it's playing.
I was gonna say, I think,
That is
I think this
true.
is one of those. I think this is one of those. It's bad because it's overplayed kind of situations. Because it is. It is absolutely overplayed.
And like my exposure to pop music it takes place in public places.
Mm-hmm.
So in like public spaces is the only time I really get exposed to a majority of like what's trending.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of those songs that like it was everywhere for a while, and I wasn't happy with that. Wasn't having it.
Everywhere, and it wasn't your thing.
But still, she shouldn't have got hit in the head with a phone.
No,
Like,
yeah.
exactly.
Jesus, like
There is no world that I think, because I don't care for this song, she should
yeah,
have been
maybe she
hitting
should have
that
made a
with
little
phone.
less money off of it. But even then, like I don't care. Yeah, like whack her with a phone.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you could have gone to that show.
That would have been a cool show to go to.
Probably not, because it likely ended very early when they
Yeah.
were like, "Oh shit, she's got to
Oh
go."
shit! She just
to
got hit in the head
doctor.
with the phone. Yeah, you know what? That's fair.
Want to make sure she's not like concussed. I don't know what I would. I've never been to any kind of like show or concert that gets like abruptly ended or has like some kind of like
Major problem.
shitty happening.
Yeah.
One of my coworkers was telling me about I can't remember who it was. I'll have to ask him. But he went to a show. It was at one of the fair, like one of the bigger fairs around here, like the Erie County Fair, like the Crawford County Fair, and it was like a pretty big name artist, and they got like booed off the stage.
Jesus.
Kidding.
Yeah, because I guess they like sucked. I'm trying to remember. It was like a pop artist. I'm trying to remember who it was, but they were like, I guess, very obviously like lip syncing, and they weren't really like doing much of a show, like much of a performance. And like, I get it if you're like a bit of a washed up pop artist and you don't really feel like going all out at the Crawford County Fair.
Damn.
I don't blame you, but I guess they booed her off stage. I'm trying to remember who it was. I might have to put a pin in this for next week and ask, because all I know is that somebody got booed off stage, and I've never been to a show like that, but I'd kind of like to.
It seems like it would be definitely an experience.
Especially if I was like at a fair and it was like, if you pay your $5 to get into the whole fair, you can just sit in the stands whenever you want. Then
Yeah,
it would
right.
be more worth it. But
Frankly,
not-
if I was gonna do it, I might be the one booing if I was there all day.
I might be booing too, if they're. But I wouldn't be throwing a phone.
You know what? I respect that. I appreciate that you're taking
I'll maybe
a
be
stand.
giving like a thumbs down. I'd be like,
Yeah.
ooh, not like a middle finger. That's too mean. But like a
No,
thumbs
that's
down.
a lot. That's a lot of. That's too much.
Maybe say you stink if they stink.
But only if they're
Boo-
literally
boo
stinky, not
you
if their
stink,
music
even.
is bad.
Yeah, boo, you stink.
No. If their music is bad, if they smell bad,
can s-
I'll do anything. No limits,
No.
no rules.
Would you throw a phone?
No gods,
We
no
can
kings.
say whatever the hell we want.
Horse cock.
What?
Can't believe Noah's out here.
You're saying we can say whatever we want. I'm saying big fat load of cum. You said we could swear, and I said horsecock. That's one of the funniest bits.
It's so good.
I have
Because
no
it's
clue
such
what
a-
this is from, but I do like it.
It's from I Think You Should Leave.
That'll
The
do.
guy's like, we're here from the adults only tour, so we can say whatever the hell we want. And then Tim Robinson's like, horsecock. And then everyone's like, huh? Like, yeah, you can swear on the tour. You don't have to just say that though. And then it only gets worse from there.
It's a very funny bit.
It's a really good bit though. Yeah, that would be me at the concert.
That would have been you. It could have been me, but it
There
was
was
not.
I know there was another one. This was like a while ago where like there was a I think it was a Kanye concert they dropped Kanye. This was before I think he'd even like done like the worst of it. He was just like, I'm not showing up, and they were like, oh, okay.
Oh, I remember that.
And then like Kid Cudi performed, and then all the Kanye fans like threw water bottles at him.
Which is so
And he just-
insane.
and he-
since
and then he
Kid
just, like,
Cudi is
after, like-
someone Kanye like actually enjoys working with, so like you think that they would at
Not
least respect
anymore.
him. Well, yeah.
Was Kid Cudi was like, you're being strange. Stop that. And then apparently they're not friends, which is good for Kid Cudi.
Frankly,
He's from local, you know. He's from Cleveland.
hey, he's not from Pennsylvania, so not a hometown boy, but he's close.
True. And yeah, like they just like threw water bottles on him, and he just like left after 10 minutes. And like I get it. Like, sure, you may have paid to see Kanye, but like he's not coming, so like they put somebody out there. Don't be mad.
Speaking
Don't
of
be mad at the. Don't be mad at the
hometown boys,
replacement. Be
though,
mad at your guy who left.
you ever seen a guy who looks more like a dude from Pittsburgh than Mac Miller?
Yeah, I have a coworker that looks more like a guy from Pittsburgh.
Really?
But yeah, it's like in his veins, and the way he talks, like it's just who he is. I've never seen him without a piece of Pirates merch on.
Okay, so that's very, very fair. But every picture I see of Mac Miller, I'm just like, damn, that dude's from Pittsburgh.
Nah, he's from Pittsburgh for sure.
Big
I just never heard him say Stillers, so I don't know for sure.
That's
Like
true.
I can't verify until I hear somebody talk about the Stillers.
Mhm.
Then I get it. Then I'm like, all right.
Yeah, as soon as you hear Stillers, you know.
Oh, I'll go to the South Side, watch the Stillers game. Yeah, that's where it's at. I like Pittsburgh a lot, honestly. I feel like if I were to move to a city nearby, I would definitely pick Pittsburgh over, Cleveland, Buffalo.
I'm
I
not gonna
didn't
lie to you,
understand.
Jackson.
Yep.
That was the worst
was-
robotic
yep,
yet. I have no idea what
I
you
have no
said.
clue what you just said.
I just said that I like Pittsburgh.
Okay.
That's the gist of it.
I've been to Pittsburgh very rarely, actually. I've not been to Pittsburgh very much.
Honestly, the hills make it so that I don't think I would want to live in Pittsburgh because it just looks a little too what?
It's a little too spooky to drive around in.
Dan, I need you to learn how to drive so that you don't say things like this.
I will not, actually.
No,
I
it's-
again.
it's
I cannot
honestly-
honestly. I do know how to drive. I just choose not to because I deeply dislike it.
Anyway, what I'm saying.
Go for it.
No,
What do you
that's
got?
there's just a lot of hills in Pittsburgh. There's a lot of one-way roads. It's just if you're not from there, a difficult place to navigate. And I know that if I lived there for a year, I'd be fine with it and I'd be like exactly the same as I was when I used to work in like various other busy parts of town, and I'd be like, everyone really sucks for not knowing how to drive in this area. I drive here every day. It's the easiest thing to navigate. But like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've navigated Pittsburgh enough that like it's not that like daunting to me. But also, I don't know. I kind of feel like there's just so many people who will let that be like their primary reason for not like going or doing something, and that's like it's one thing when it's like downtown Pittsburgh where it's like you're going uphill and there's like 4 different exit lanes on one tunnel, and like the lanes are sometimes open, sometimes closed, and you have to know which one you're getting in because they're not clearly labeled until it's too late to change lanes. And I get that, like that can be, if you've never done it before, probably really annoying. Like knowing the difference between all the like, why would you get off on Veterans Memorial Bridge when you can get off on Memorial Bridge instead? And you're like, well, but also the fact that some people feel that way about like even Erie is.
yeah, Erie is
Baffling
so
to me.
easily laid out.
There's so many people who are like, I don't want to drive all the way. I don't want to have to deal with the driving around in Erie.
because there's like
It's just-
almost
it's just
no
roads.
one-way roads, almost
And-
none. It's so
And, like-
easy to navigate.
It's just roads. Just drive on them.
There's no hills. There's no like. The hardest part is having to deal with the factories blocking off like easy like block access. But frankly,
Yeah, like sometimes you can't just like
like
hang 3 lefts and then be back where you were.
yeah, but
But that's
usually
normal
you
everywhere.
can. And
Yeah.
that's the thing.
So I don't know. And there's a lot of people who, especially live out where I live, that are like, I don't know. People drive like crazy there. I fucking don't. Stop. They maybe drive a little more aggressive because your ass is being weird on the road. But like, I don't know. People out here will talk like they're lunatics in Erie driving. Like that's just you being a bit of a weenie behind the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
I am a weenie behind the wheel. Yes.
Yeah, we know. Don't worry. We know.
That's okay.
Okay.
You're
You're
allowed,
allowed
to
to.
be.
Yeah.
It's not illegal. It's just like
It's not illegal. It's just kind of should be.
people, Jesus. But yeah,
Kinda
people out
should
here
be.
will like actively be like, I don't want to deal with going into Erie. I'll stick with like Fairview, or they'll even be like, I don't know, Mill Creek's kind of crazy. Mill Creek's kind of crazy. It's like 3 roads.
Yeah. Yeah.
The craziest part is just that every now and then our foot traffic makes it so that you can't easily drive down the street. But also, man, I drove in Toronto
can
recently and I wanted to shoot myself.
Yeah, you can still easily drive down the street. You just have to stop for pedestrians.
Yeah.
And
You have
like,
no issues
that's
turning. There's no issues minimal
Toronto is,
parking
like,
issues. Toronto, on the other
famously
hand,
ass.
oh my god. Walking around Toronto, fantastic.
And on
Had a
top of
blast.
it, you're checking your speedometer on the wrong side. You got to look at the little numbers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, that was also miserable driving up in Canada, having to track the
It literally becomes
kilometers.
harder to look at your speed.
Because they're underneath the needle.
Yeah, it's strange. And then also depending on whether or not you've got like your like route pre-downloaded or you've got access to Canadian data, like you might just not be able to actually even use maps, which would be immensely helpful if you're navigating a new city.
Yeah, that was we lucked out because I think we went in to Toronto over a month change. So
Mhm.
while I had 2 gig of roaming data for the month, it did reset 1 day into us being there.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's just like I got a notification. It's like, oh, you have 2 gigabytes of roaming data. And I'm like, fuck, I definitely used a lot of that on maps already because I couldn't figure out how to pre-download the map.
Yeah.
And then the day ticked over, and the next day it's like, welcome to Canada. You have 2 gigabyte of roaming data before you get like totally like cut off.
I love a good timeline. Good ticking timer. My
Yeah, I
favorite.
don't think I have any roaming data, but I might for Canada. I don't think so though, because sometimes I'll go to like one of the beaches and it'll be like, you're connected to Rogers, and I'm like, I'm in Pennsylvania.
Ick.
Man, that's the worst part about going to the peninsula is every single time you go there, if you hit the right spots, it's like, oh, welcome to Canada. And I'm like, I am within
But
a
a lot of the
mile of the
peninsula?
shore. What do you mean?
Like a lot of the peninsula, you'll still stick with like local networks because they realize it's like a high traffic area. If you go out to like Raccoon Park in like Albion or like any of the beaches out there or like in Conneaut, they're just like, your ass is in Canada, huh? Like, no, I'm like 40 miles from Canada and I'm in the United States. Why would you think I'm closer to the far place?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's 2 cell towers near me. One of them in like East Springfield and one of them in, I don't know, Hamilton, Ontario. Which one do you think I'm nearer to? Oh, this one you're 6 miles from, that one you're 40 miles from. Yeah, we think you're in Canada.
It's
Wrong.
insane.
I can't imagine like living there. Canada, that is. No. I can't imagine like living on like the lake. Because, obviously the idea sounds great, but you're probably not connected to your cell service half the time. Or you've just got to buy an international plan and accept it.
Man, the worst part about the drive back was it took my phone far too long into Pennsylvania to actually register, or into New York, I guess, because we went into New York because that's the way
Yeah.
you do it. It took a long way into New York for it to finally switch back over to miles an hour as its speedometer on the map. It's like you have
Yeah,
to
something
go
about the
X number
Canadian
of
cell towers have
kilometers.
to be
I'm like,
built different.
They must be. They gotta
Like
be.
they must
so
just
powerful.
be better. They've got to be just like doing it better than us. Cause like there ain't no way that I'm closer to a Canadian cell tower when I know the nearest one is in East Springfield. This is very local pilled today.
Yeah, this is a very
But like
inside baseball.
I think it's also like inside baseball, but like our viewership's inside baseball a little bit too. Like, I don't think there's a ton of people who have no idea about the region
That's fair.
at this point. Very local pilled.
It's so local pilled.
Based and also local pilled.
What else did I do this week? I went to the concert and that was a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
Would do that again. There was some moments for sure. But yeah, it was a really good time. They ended the show with like everybody was just like the three artists on stage just like started sequentially tackling one another, which was very funny.
Mm-hmm.
Sequentially what?
Tackling each other.
Ah, of course.
Like I think it was Julian Baker was just like standing there in the middle, and then Phoebe Bridgers just ran up and like hit her with the old I don't know what to call it, but the whole fucking pile driver. I don't know my wrestling moves. I'm not the Undertaker.
Oh my god, he knows a wrestler.
That's right. I know the Undertaker. What if he was here right now?
Hey, brother.
That's not. That was not the Undertaker. I don't think.
Wow, you're not appreciative of me getting Hollywood Hulk Hogan here?
Undertaker's like old as hell, right?
He is pretty old
like,
now.
He's in like his 70s.
No,
probably
he's not
just
in
like
his 70s.
maybe. Probably in his 60s.
He's 58.
He doesn't look like it.
I mean,
years of getting punched in the head probably wasn't the best.
I think realistically, it's more the years of glowering at people definitely doesn't do much for his face.
And, you know, I don't want to make any accusations, but probably rampant drug use. Because,
yeah, probably.
It was a bit of a problem, and probably still is a problem in the industry.
Hulk Hogan is 69.
Nice. Hulk Hogan sucks, though.
He does. He really, really does.
Like, what did he do after wrestling? Become more openly racist and get a reality TV show that was awful, have a sex tape of his leak, and then continue to be even more openly racist. What did Steve Austin do? He has a little podcast where he drinks wine with The Undertaker. So,
yeah.
And talks about how he's like an ally of queer people. So, you know, pick your poison.
It's just really funny to me
it's
that,
the rattlesnake.
you know, for all the drama within the WWE, Hulk Hogan's the only one that got like cut from their records and like permanently burned from them because of his
he said the N-word like 10 times.
Like, dude's a mess.
Publicly, at least.
Mm-hmm.
On top of everything else he did, which was also super shitty. Then he left for the WCW. Who could forget? I could forget, because I don't really know what I'm talking about. I just think I like saw that on Twitter one time.
I'm a huge fan of, I saw this video of people, it was just a comparison of like a good wrestler versus a shit wrestler kind of situation.
I'm probably a shit wrestler, if I'm being honest.
Well, it's possible, but you could probably also sell a fall better than Hogan because The Undertaker was choke slamming him and he didn't jump up into the air or anything. He made The Undertaker lift him and drop him so it looked terrible, and then he no-sold it at the end doing his can you hear that like stupid pose thing, and The Undertaker looked so mad. And then meanwhile I can't remember the other guy who did it, but The Undertaker lifted him like, I mean, the dude's 6'10", so he lifted this man like almost 7 feet in the air because the guy jumped up to help him and then threw him down, and it looked fantastic because of course it did. He was actually like, they were working together because they're fucking performers and that's what they do.
No!
I can't believe performers perform.
Well, not Hogan. Hogan only
That's
does
true.
whatever he wants.
It's also racist.
Yeah. He's only 6'7". Undertaker's 6'10". So, you know.
Giblet is just like so sleepy right now. It's like the sleepiest he's probably ever been. He's laying upside down and has been sitting there with like his paws in the air for like 5 minutes now, and they're just kind of like kicking away.
Nice.
I sent you a photo.
We'll see if it comes through.
I was gonna say,
True.
See you in an hour or two.
I just realized. So this is something I'm always super self-conscious of when I take pictures of things. I just realized I could see your foot in that video.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it happens all the time, especially if it's just like something I record on Snapchat and I'm not like posting anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't really like care. But also, like, I too get weirded out by it.
It's literally all I can think of. I'm not even a foot guy, but literally all I can think.
That makes me feel better.
I see feet, and I'm like, oh my god, for free? I don't even like feet.
I really do love there's something very funny to me about the for free. It's
like one of the. I kind of get where people are like, oh, like feet for free, brother. Google porn. You'll be surprised. People make stuff, and it's on the internet.
And it's also
Yes.
free.
That's crazy.
Sometimes it's probably not free. Sometimes it's probably free, but you're the product, and sometimes it's probably just like free with ad revenue. And sometimes it's illegally free. But either way, you'd be so surprised. Wait till you find out about this.
Wait to hear about that new crazy thing.
Google search bar noises.
Whenever I send videos like that, though, Mari never fails to comment that my feet are in it.
That's extraordinarily funny.
She's like, why you got your toes out? I'm like, okay, well, I just was making coffee in the kitchen and
Why
filming.
you got your toes
Well, you got your
out?
toes
Like, you don't
out.
have
I don't
to-
know. I was literally just sending it to you. I didn't think it was that big
Yeah,
a deal.
I didn't put, like, socks or shoes on to walk into my kitchen in the morning. Like, I'm sorry. But one time, I sent a picture, and I, like, edited my feet out. Like, I just put, like, a highlighter over them.
Yeah.
And, it was like a whole fiasco. And she was like, now I'm upset that you didn't put your feet in the photo. You can't win.
Can't win. Can't win.
Can't win with feet. But I feel like there's so many times when you just go to take a picture or something and your feet are in the photo.
Oh, yeah.
It just happens a lot.
100%.
Did you just send me a picture of your feet?
Did I? No. It
Oh.
was Giblet.
Oh, you sent it over Snapchat. I thought you were sending it to the Discord chat.
I also kind of did.
And then
but
I get this
No,
photo.
it would take like 20 minutes.
So yeah, no, I thought because I just got the Snapchat notification. I'm like, oh my god, did Jackson just send me a feet pic? Just because
For
it would be
free?
funny. Literally, I'm so like internet poison pilled that like that's all I can think of, and that's so stupid.
So
I hate
funny,
that.
though. What a life to live.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really I don't take note much of like the feet stuff these days, but I'm also not nearly as online as I once was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now Noah has uploaded the Giblet photo. He's been doing that. He's still doing that. It's a big ass cat, honestly.
I love a big cat.
He's like 15, 16 pounds. Dude's hefty.
Large.
So Nina and I watched X-Men recently.
Which one?
2000,
Ooh.
A classic.
a classic, and frankly,
Honestly, kind of revived the superhero genre.
it's really not bad. It is a lot better than I thought it was, and I think it's frankly fully insane that this movie opened up with a scene depicting the Holocaust. What a way to open the movie.
Yeah.
And then immediately swung right into a Senate hearing that literally could have been recorded a week ago about like trans people.
Yeah. Listen, the movie knew
And
exactly what it was doing.
It frustratingly knows what it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have to just contend with the fact that, well, yes, I know it's an X-Men movie. No, I swear the first two were okay. The third one was the bad one. Yeah, the reboot was kind of shaky as well, but no, you don't understand. Well, no, I get it, but
Listen.
You know to jump through hoops. I genuinely like X-Men 2000 is like I would say that and Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, but X-Men 2000 came first is like solely responsible for the revival of the superhero movies.
I would agree.
Like in the way that we have them now.
Yeah.
It literally stems back to that movie. And sure, it might not be perfect. It might not hold up amazingly. It might have been made in the year 2000. But like, you know what happens to a toad when it gets struck by lightning?
Same thing that happens to everything else.
Same
you know-
thing. Like, it's a classic.
It's a
Nina
good
and I
line.
opened up that movie being like, oh my god, remember what happens to a toad when it gets struck by lightning? By the end of the movie, we're like, you know what, we've come around on this. That's actually not the worst line in the world.
It's
Not
actually
it's
a phenomenal.
actually a great
I love
line.
it.
I really like that line.
It's funny.
It's funny
it's
and
really
it's
funny.
It's really funny, and it is still like threatening. Might not be the right word, but it still has a little bit of
It's powerful.
Yeah, it's still powerful. It's funny and powerful at the same time, and that I feel like is a bit of a lost art in especially in like more modern superhero stuff.
It's
Yeah.
like it's classic Storm, you know, where it's like, what's your power? Like, oh, I control the weather.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, is that it? Like, yeah, that's it. But like, think about it.
But actually think about it.
Like, what if your ass got struck by lightning? You'd probably be like, oh, I'm dead as hell. Now I can do that whenever I want. Oh shit, that's kind of crazy. Tornadoes. Yeah, I don't know. X-Men's like it's a classic.
Yeah.
And they'll always be relevant. I mean, as long as there are people in the margins of society, there will always be relevance to the X-Men, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's never going to be a one-to-one, so like you can't project too hard into it, but like everyone can always see a little bit of themselves or the parts of themselves that they're told not to express. Everyone can always see those in the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone has those, whatever they may be. Just for some people, they suck. Like they're the thing that society tells them not to do is like, yeah, no, you shouldn't.
I was literally just trying to find a way to say it really is amusing to me that like movies like this will exist and explicit or like media, I should say, and will explicitly be about like minority groups being like actively targeted, and then you can always find at least one like white supremacist or something who's just like, this is about how I can't say the N-word.
Isn't it? That's exactly what it's about.
That's what Magneto fought for.
Also, very, very funny to me that like Magneto in the movie has such a good plan, and it's a plan that would have worked, which is turn all the world leaders into mutants, except his mutant turning machine didn't work. So he actually would have just violently murdered all of them.
Which also still would have worked in a way.
No.
No, it
See,
wouldn't
that's-
have worked. It would have worked against his planning. But it's like Nina and I kept talking about this in the comics. Magneto would have immediately reevaluated his plan and taken like a little bit of time to reassess and like fix his crazy machine.
I love Magneto, honestly.
But in the movie, they're just
not-
like, he's got to be the bad guy, so full steam ahead.
Magneto is just so base, though.
He kind of is.
Because, like, half the time, he's like, yeah, it's time to violently overthrow whatever. Usually the government in favor of, like, helping oppressed people find, like, comfort in their identity. And maybe it's somewhat misaligned. And then the other half the time, he's like, Professor X, you want to get brunch?
I will never.
Because, like, he's not always a psychopath on, like, a more, you know,
Yeah.
path.
I will
Like,
never
he
get tired
and
of
Charles are buds.
Yeah, I was gonna say I will never get tired of he and Charles just being friends.
Yeah, they just disagree on like the way in which they can have mutants integrate into society. And like I think that Magneto's perspective might be a little more valid in many instances, especially in our modern world. But also, sometimes they're just like chilling. Like there's not always a storm a brewing.
I will never ever get tired of the fact that they just vibe half the time. It brings me a lot.
It's awesome.
I think we need more of that in media. To be honest, I don't think they're that. I need the protagonist antagonist relationship to be more affable. Like I need them to
I
be
think that's-
more.
This dude's never seen Megamind.
Megamind's a great example.
But that's part of like the fun in X-Men in general. It's like it's not nearly the same as like if Batman and the Joker, he's so crazy. We're like
so
sitting
crazy.
down.
So wacky.
The Joker, crazy be his name. But
Shut the fuck up.
if Batman and the Joker were just like sitting down, it would be like, no, why would they do this? These people both suck and would like not do this ever. But the X-Men are always like, they're always chilling a little bit because there's so many of them. They're like, oh yeah, there's like a fucking robot gonna blow up everybody. But I think Cyclops got that. Toad, you want to like fucking like make some French toast or something? We can just like chill here at the base for a minute. Jubilee's got like firework powers. And then Rogue just will like sit in the corner and be like, if I touch anyone, they will die. All right, I guess don't do that then. Can't do anything about it.
Until she can eventually, and then it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember
We'll get
how
there.
Magneto breaks out of his like suspended plastic prison, and isn't it that he
too much
just
pride.
like
iron
Probably
in
metal
your blood.
powers. He probably uses like metal.
no,
Yeah.
well they like they're careful about it, but if memory serves, he is so sick of waiting that he pulls all the iron out of the blood of a guard or some like
it's-
super sick thing like that.
It's Mystique seduces a guard at a club and then knocks him out and shoves a needle in his ass to fill him with more iron in his blood, and
Oh,
then
that's right.
Magneto breaks out.
Man,
I
that's
remember
so much
because
less
I
cool
would've just
than
put,
him
like-
just going like totally swagged out, pulling
mean, to be
all the
fair-
iron out of his
He
blood,
does,
which is what he
to be
did.
fair. But listen, there's too much iron in your blood line lives rent free in my brain because the moment that he then just walks out with like the 3 little iron orbs circling is just so badass. It's so
It
good.
is really cool.
I would have just like slipped a handful of ball bearings in his pocket.
Well, that's the thing is that like they had like all the metal detectors, so he couldn't have snuck anything in that way. The only way to do it was to stick it in his blood.
I would have shoved them up his butt because I am an
Like 2 of
ally and
them.
not afraid of that.
So
I would've
true.
just,
so
like-
brave, honestly. Thank you for your service.
I would have put like a couple
ally
in
of
his
Magneto,
fingertips,
I
and he
need to
would have
make it
woken up and
clear.
been like, he would have woken up and been like, my fingers are just kind of weird today. No, there's ball bearings in there, idiot.
Dumbass.
Yeah, my arm's always been this bumpy. Why do you ask?
It's actually kind of fucked up of you to bring it up.
Or I would have given him like put like a whole salmon in his pocket because it's very high in iron. Maybe like a can of spinach even.
They're just like, Magneto, here for lunch today is
really
stewed
like-
spinach and salmon.
I really like
Ah,
the
you
idea-
idiot.
I really like the idea of you putting a can of spinach in there and him using the spinach and not the can.
I mean, it's high in iron.
It's
Also,
high in iron. Makes
I
sense
love
to me.
that Magneto controls all metal, not just magnetic things. So, like, anything that is metal, he's got it. So, you know, he's like moving lead around, and I'm like, he shouldn't be able to do that. He's moving copper
That's not
around. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, dude.
How is you moving aluminum? It's non-magnetic.
It's so funny. I bring that up, and Nina's like, shut up. Keep up with the movie. He just moves metal.
Don't
He's
worry about
he's Magneto. He's metal.
it. Yeah, they don't call him magnetic. That'd be stupid.
Because he's not.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he's kind of, but like not in that way, you know?
I mean, he's not. He's got a magnetic
cool.
personality.
He does.
That's true. He has all those followers and friends who are like, we've been oppressed for too long, based solely on the way we were born, and that's not okay.
Yeah, that's true.
And then Professor X is like, it's a little bit okay.
Nina was just like literally the only thing against Magneto in the would I side with Magneto thing is he's a little too eager to use child soldiers, and Professor Xavier does not use child soldiers. So
He
That's
uses
kinda
teen
neat.
soldiers instead.
That's true. I mean, that's a good point there.
I guess it's like a big point in the comics that Kitty Pryde is mad that she can't be an X-Man, and they're just like, "You're a fucking child.
You're an
You gotta
actual little
wait."
child. Please chill. I do like that the comics vary how old all the kids are, and also like comics in general. I feel like kind of vary how old they allow their children vigilantes to be. Like,
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like Batman would be employing child soldiers at the drop of a
full-
hat.
Like literally no questions asked.
Every child soldier he can train, he's deploying.
Yeah,
Sometimes at once.
yeah. It's
One
so
of them gets murdered with a crowbar.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then they act like, how could this have possibly happened? Well, gee willikers, Bruce.
He's probably like, he was like 12, dude.
He was
yeah.
literally a baby.
Of course he got outsmarted. Dude was 13.
He's just a little lad.
just a little lad who loved Batman and crime."
All right, I like that one. That
Oh,
was
thank
pretty
you, thank
good.
you. It was a stretch, but I stretched.
No,
it
no,
enough.
I don't. I think it was perfect. I
I
had
mean,
no
we've-
notes.
Noah is a little lad that is all right with peaches and cream.
That's true.
Are peaches berries?
No, they're not.
No, they're
Why
stone
not?
fruit.
Okay.
I'll stone your fruit. All my fruit is already stone. Whatever, you get it.
Huh? I don't get it.
I
don't get it.
Okay. I don't get it either.
Well, you said we got it.
Boo, bad joke, Dan. Bad joke, Dan. Everyone, boo this man. Boo, boo.
I got some cherries the other day for $1.98 a pound.
Oh, that's also stone fruit.
Yeah, I know.
Michelle and I bought blueberries and strawberries at the farmers market for a
Those
buck.
that is not stone fruit.
No, but we made
Parfaits?
No,
Gelato.
we made berry simple syrup.
Ooh,
That's fun.
That's
They
fun.
came out looking like little potions.
Oh my god, I had a coworker who left me. He brought me mulberries from his house, like a little tiny
Oh.
Ziploc bag of them.
I haven't had
And
mulberries
he's not
in
going to
years.
listen
I
to
love
this, so I
mulberries.
can say they weren't good. They were fine,
Aw.
but like,
They're probably wild and
well, yeah. But he's just like, if you want, I have tons of them on the ground right now. You can come and get some and pick a bunch
On
if
the
you
ground.
want. And I'm
Yeah,
just
on the
like,
ground?
well, that made me wonder: did he give me ground mulberries, or
He
did he
definitely
give
did.
me
He gave you
good
ground
mulberries?
Yeah,
mulberries.
dude, he gave you ground mulberries.
you gotta get those off the tree, man.
Yeah, you can't just get ground berries. That's
Exactly.
That's not
Frankly, I don't trust this man around. He knows about foods, but he is not.
not the best foodie.
He's just
Dumb.
kind of dumb.
That's really sad. Hey, we're all kind of dumb sometimes.
I think we can cut somewhere in here, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Listen, where do you feel comfortable cutting now? Whenever
bread
you're ready.
usually.
Listen, you just cut it
Maybe
You
off.
feel
whenever you're
comfortable
ready.
cutting
Chicken.
bread? I feel like cutting bread is like one of the most stressful cutting experiences.
Kinda, yeah.
Because
Actually,
like
no, you're right.
you get one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, which is like a level slice of bread. And I sometimes don't capture it. I let it slip.
I also let it slip.
It sucks because you get one slice wrong, and now you have at least 2 slices wrong.
Yeah.
It's just how it is on this bitch of an earth.